Easter's changed a lot, hasn't it? Used to get eggs, chocolate eggs, and now look at me since I've been on the Kilimanjaro.
Yes, I know, but I mean, I thought you would have brought me a chocolate egg, not a blinking slice of carrot.
I can't buy them anymore.
It's quite nice.
It is nice, it's healthy. Makes your eyes glow. You won't need your glasses by the end of the episode. Honestly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester with me, Miss Belinda Scandal.
And me, Mr. Mark Llewellyn. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. I'm going to put these down now due to the fact that it's a very tasty snack. Yeah. Easter, did you do much for it?
I'm here.
No?
No, I didn't do much. I had a hot cross bun.
Did you?
I certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went to my mother's yesterday.
Yeah.
For Easter Sunday. Did you?
No, because tomorrow is my birthday.
Not another one.
Yeah, I have two a year, you know. One for each personality.
Yes.
So, tomorrow being my birthday, I will be celebrating my 21st. And I'm lying. All right, I'm lying. I'm
not saying that you're over the hill or anything.
No.
But you must have a good view of the valley.
Thank you very much. I'm actually 18, and if you don't believe me, check the label in my dress. Now, listen, we've got a marvellous show tonight. Who's on the show tonight, please?
Yes, we certainly have. Well, we are telling the story of St. George because it's St. George's Day this week.
Fascinates me.
Absolutely does.
I'll go into more of that with you in a bit, because I've got some questions.
Okay, right. Well, I thought you might be being a dragon. And we're also going to be meeting the power behind Hope Mill Theatre.
You know, at the start of the show, we said it was a good idea to have food as props.
It's not, is it?
It's not really.
You've got a carrot stuck in your gullet.
I beg your pardon? I've got a carrot stuck in my gullet. Yes, indeed. So let's crack on then. What's first?
All right. Who should we go to first? I tell you.
Yes.
Let's talk about St. George. April the 23rd. Yes, William Shakespeare's birthday and also St. George's Day. St. George being the patron saint of England, of course. And we wear a red rose and we get out our English flags, the red cross on the white background. But St. George wasn't English at all. In fact, he was a Roman guard, one of the Praetorian guards. And he was put to death on the 23rd of April 303. And he was put to death because he would not recant his Christian faith. And that is why he was turned into a saint. But he was also, of course, mixed up with a legend back in the 11th century of George and the dragon. Was there a real dragon? Well, of course not. It became a bit of a myth, and that's why, partly, he became patron saint of so many places, because he's not just the patron saint of England. He has feast days and celebrations in places as far and spread as Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ukraine, Malta, Beirut, Rio de Janeiro, in fact, all over the world. So they celebrate and commemorate St. George and his myth. Here, of course, it's tied up with Shakespeare's birthday, as I said. And we have, as part of the Union Jack, the flag of Great Britain, the St. George cross as part of it, and then it's combined with the cross of St. Patrick and of St. Andrew for Scotland and for Northern Ireland. Wales is not represented on the Union flag because Wales had already become part of the United Kingdom through the English taking over. So we suddenly have this flag, and that is also then represented in Australia, New Zealand, and so on. So April the 23rd is our Saint's Day, the patron saint of England. Should we celebrate? Well, of course, today there are question marks over the use of flags and things like that, but he is our patron saint, and just as St. David and St. Andrew and St. Patrick are celebrated, why can't we celebrate as well? So we wish you all, for the 23rd of April, a happy St. George's Day.
So your little piece there on St. George.
Yes.
The dragon, does it represent Wales, or does it?
No.
I always thought, because the symbol of Wales is this dragon.
Yes, but the patron saint of Wales is St. David.
Well, let's not get complicated. Where did he come from then?
He turned up. I'm not really taking questions on all the saints of Great Britain.
Was he Welsh?
I'm going to have to take a pass on that.
Because St. George was English?
St. George was not English.
No.
as I've just explained in that film.
So he
was a
wasn't
Roman
English.
soldier. Saint David,
So he was Italian.
I think, came from Ireland. Don't remember back there.
St.
to the
Patrick
school
came
days.
from where? Spain? You've led me down a warrant hole of investigation and conclusion and question here. I don't think I'll fully function again.
No, what about St. Belinda?
Next, you'll be telling me Buddha's from Wigan. Hey?
Well, I could say something there.
St.
but,
Belinda, she's got her own island, you know. Did I
Has
tell you it
she?
was in Doctor Who?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I was in Wigan the other week and all they talked about was you.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's very important down there.
Anyway.
What? Yes, listen. Have you been on this trend? I know you don't follow many trends, but there is a trend, and I've been dying for the last few weeks to figure out how it was achieved. Now, we asked our director up there in the gods to fully do this trend for us. Now, what it is...
Hang on a minute. We have a director?
Yes, indeed. There is some semblance of organisation, hence why we're matching everybody. I asked him to get together a nice picture of us.
Yes.
And according to this trend, you type in chat GPT.
Right.
And you put a few little things in it, and it creates a packaged doll, like an action figure of said person.
Oh.
Now, I gave him a wonderful brand new picture of me since I've lost my little bit of weight. Everybody.
Oh, yes.
Now, have a look at this. Isn't that...
Oh.
What the hell on God's green earth is that?
Well, it's definitely you, isn't it?
It's like Madge Bishop crossed with Harold Bishop.
And are they selling these dolls? Because I think there should be a health warning.
They're not real, Flower. It's
it's
AI.
a pretend thing, is it?
It's AI.
Oh.
Well, the good news is, though, if I look that bad, I mean, let's have a look at yours, shall
Oh,
we?
yes, let's see. Oh.
For God's sake. Why is yours got...
Well, I've got hair. Look at that.
You look more like Steve Carell.
I've lost a lot of weight as well. That's marvellous, isn't it? Do you know, I really like these things.
I'm not having it.
I think they should be on sale as a pair.
Do you like salt and pepper? Eh? Two
Yes,
ends of a bookshelf.
They used to be a good act, didn't they, Salt and Pepper? Oh, no, that was Shirley and Pepsi.
No, there was salt and pepper.
Was there?
Yeah, they did
Am
push
I right
it.
there?
They did push it. Very well done there,
That's- they did that with the
1988.
young people.
Right, lovely.
No, they're good. I like that.
No, I don't like them at all.
Is
How
yours
is that me? I
inflatable?
look like a Zeppelin of Rita Fairclough.
Yours does look inflatable.
Doesn't it, though?
Yes.
Where'd you blow? No. But I know that it's getting very, very exciting over on the televisual devices. All the soaps are pulling it out because we are heading to what I like to call Super Soap Week.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's going to be exciting.
Excellent.
I can't say any more than that.
No.
For one reason, I don't know. And, yes, the challenge here for Super Soap Week is whether or not Coronation Street will step it up.
And when is Super Soap Week?
Around about now.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's marvellous, isn't it? I can't wait. I shall barely be able to get a wink of sleep.
Are you still doing Canada with the Coronation Street tourings?
And I'm still looking after Canadians, yes, when they come over in September.
Well, that's lovely. And guess where I'm going next year?
Canada.
So,
Yes,
very
well,
exciting.
yes.
I'm on the search for proper real maple syrup.
Oh, they'll bring some over for you. I can get some brought on in September.
Could you have a word now and reach out to them? Go on, I'll let you do.
Hello, all of our viewers in Canada. If you could send some real maple syrup and maybe a bounty or two for our Belinda, that would be lovely. You'll find all the details at your MCF.com. There we are.
I bet I don't get it.
I'll get you some real
Most of
maple
our
syrup,
viewership's
don't you
from
worry.
Belarus.
It's certainly. Well, they love a good sausage there. Now, I tell you what, we must remind you about a little project that we're undertaking at the moment. I took life and limb in my hand and I walked along the middle of a dual carriageway on my own.
Which limb?
Here we are. Details of our special project coming up.
At Your Manchester, we're working on a very special project entitled HIV and Me. And we're wanting you to take part. We want your stories. What do you think of HIV? Do you have experience of living with HIV or someone you love, family member perhaps also doing so? What about PrEP? Has that changed the way you think about sexually transmitted diseases? Has it changed the way you live your life? We want to hear from you for a very special series of programmes we're working on with Manchester Pride. You can contact us using the email contactus@yourmcr.com, and we can arrange for you to come in and film your story, record it as an audio, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that's entirely fine as well. So we want to hear from you, and Belinda and I will be sharing your stories soon on Your Manchester.
Well, joining us now in the studio, our final guest for this evening, it is the wonderful Joe and Will, all the way from Hope Mill Theatre, that wonderful, beautiful theatre that's not too far away from here now.
No.
A stone's throw away.
A stone's throw away, and it's exciting times. I think last time we caught up with you, you were doing Gypsy, which was absolutely sensationally amazing. And then after that, you've done 9 with one of my favouriteest singers in the world, our Ramin.
Yes, that's right. We were in the other theatre, weren't
We were in the other theatre. We had
Same
Kim
day.
Woodburn, and you got Ramin.
Yes.
I'm sure one was more polite than the other. But anyway,
It was lovely.
Yes, of course she was. And that's what we're contracted to say. So anyway, absolutely fantastic. But now, listen, we're in 2025 and there is so much going on in your programme of events. I couldn't even read it all in here because I'd have to
You
get
can't
a
read.
third...
Oh, sorry, no. Did I give something away?
I'd have to get a third version of the Encyclopedia Britannia, wouldn't I? Because there is so much going on. First of all, I want to delve into the fact that you are, because there's a bit of a word on the street that you're not necessarily doing too much at your Hope Mill Theatre anymore, you're doing a lot elsewhere. Where are you with that situation?
I mean, that is sort of true and then sort of not true. You know, coming out of COVID, we had to find a new model and a new way of working at Hope Mill because, you know, we've, over the past 10 years, coming up this October, you know, we're known for producing large-scale theatre, specifically musicals, and coming out of COVID, that just got really, really difficult for us. For a whole load of reasons, mainly cost, production costs, staffing costs, and we didn't want to give less than what's expected of us, you know, because we've got such a great reputation. And I think that for us, it was going, how can we sustain Hope Mill, still making shows at Hope Mill, and of course, receiving incredible productions, touring work, grassroots Manchester theatre companies, you know, which we're very passionate about as well as, you know, our own smaller scale development stuff and plays. And so I guess looking at that model, it was going, okay, we want to create that large scale work that's expected of us, but also grow as well. You know, we were feeling with our productions, specifically the musicals, we were feeling a little bit constrained by the space, and we'd never felt like that before. And that was for, you know, again, a whole load of reasons, but you know, it's been interesting for us to look at that model of making work outside. So Gypsy, you know, which was at the Opera House.
Yeah.
Granted, it was
Fantastic. We
one, you know,
loved that.
one night, but it was amazing for us to work on that scale. Same with 9 and the Lowry, which was an even bigger space. And then, of course, Christmas Carol that we had at the Keys Theatre.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had shows happening at Hope Mill. You know, we had audiences at Hope Mill.
Yes.
During Christmas Carol, we had our adult panto.
Came to see Tinderella.
Yes, Tinderella.
I got me tickets.
You were
booked for
part
this
of it,
year.
weren't you, for a little
I'm
while?
sure you were.
So it must be difficult then as creatives to say you've got Hope Mill Theatre, but actually as creatives, I'm sure you want to do mega, I mean, I don't know how you turn the theatre in itself into such a big place, and it's a different place every time, but getting into different theatres must kind of release a little bit for you as creatives.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and we're enjoying the challenges of working in different spaces. I think because we've been there for 10 years, so essentially we know every square inch of what is Hope Mill. So it is exciting to be broadening our sort of horizons into these other Manchester iconic spaces and buildings. And I think what we've done so far is, rather than sort of go, we're going to do this project there, we've kind of gone, what's the show we're going to make, and where's the right venue for the show? And that's kind of what we've done. So Christmas Carol was very much Christmas Carol, and then the right space was the Lowry. They've got a wonderful family audience, and in history we've not done many family-friendly productions, so it felt appropriate to take that there. 9 just being the scale of what we could never have done that in concert with that cast at Hope Mill. We would have sold out in 1 minute and then just been like, how are we going to pay for this? So it made a lot more sense to take it there. So I would say show by show, we've been very much going with where's right. So actually later on in the year, we're doing Young Frankenstein and Mel Brooks. So it felt it could have been anywhere, but it felt, because we're turning 10, let's do a big show. We always said we'd never do it again, but let's do a big show back at Hope Mill. But then, of course, we're not directing. We've got Nick Winston, who directed Burlesque.
Yes, we know Nick
coming
Winston.
back.
Yes.
And he did MAME for us many, many years ago, if you remember MAME, with Tracy Bennett and Harriet Thorpe. So that's really exciting. But I guess for us, we're sort of at the point where certain shows we want to make and create at Hope Mill when they feel right. And then other ones we do want to sort of test the water and take them into bigger spaces.
And the idea as well is that making those bigger shows outside of Hope Mill can support the work that we're doing at Hope Mill. So we're sort of, it's adding to the circle of theatre life,
I
hopefully.
guess it spreads the word as well for those that haven't actually been to the mill itself.
Yeah, and bringing in new audiences from all over, Greater Manchester. So yeah, right now it's like Will says, it's about the right show and the right venue, but certainly from a point of view of Hope Mill, and that's our home, and that's never going to change.
So what have you picked for 2025 then? So we're in April, tail end of April at the moment. What happens from May, June, July, August and onwards for you?
Well, we do have incredible touring productions coming to us. So just after the Easter weekend, we have Mark Farrelly, who's been with us a couple of times. He did a Quentin Crisp show that sold out when he came a couple of years ago. And he's bringing a show, The Silence of Snow, which is about the life of Patrick Hamilton, the Rite of Gaslight.
Yes.
It's a one-man performance. He's an incredible cabaret performer. So he's coming, which is the start of our touring product. And then we have... also coming up, we have quite a lot of cock happening at Hope Mill.
Yes, I did notice that.
So you should see our mail-outs are very interesting. But we have Cock coming, which was Harp Productions. It was directed by Rupert Hill. It was on at 53.2 last year. They're going on tour and they're going to open with us, which is really exciting. And then we have Cock of Ages, which is again a company that have come to us every year, and they come, and it's a parody of rock ballad musicals. They came with their show Twats, which was a sort of parody of Cats and unpopular parody of Wicked.
I thought it was your life story. Wasn't it? Yes.
It could be.
Yes, we're working on that.
That's the third one. That's the third one.
We've got Jock Night.
We've got Jock Night coming, which actually started life with us. Not a lot of people remember that. Before COVID, we had the first production. It's gone on tour. It ran in London. I went to see the London production that ran the West End last year, coming back to us, which is really exciting. And I love that, a show that started Manchester Theatre Company, started Manchester venue, has gone off, had this incredible life, and it's coming back to us as well, which is really exciting.
As a two-actor?
Is it?
Yes,
No, I think it's more.
Still a one-actor?
No.
They just told you that.
Four or five in the cast.
They just told us it was two when we went for the audition. I think it was their way of letting us down gently.
Is that why I didn't
We got in
get
all that
it?
leather and talc for
Adam
nothing.
Zane's got an awful lot.
Such a shame you're not going to be on it.
Don't worry, we're available for anything
And
else.
watch the space, and and as well, Harp Productions, Hannah Ellis Ryan, who we have a long-standing relationship with, she's bringing vignettes to us, which is actually I think the 7th one, and again it's a collection of short pieces, all by female writers, which is really exciting. And then we've got a plethora of stuff that I can never remember. Oscars, oh my goodness.
Oh yes, Oscars.
A Night of the Oscars, which we are co-directing.
Choreographing,
And choreographing and co-directing, and that is a musical review show taking the audience on a journey through song and story of the Oscars, from the creation of the Oscars.
Because we should say you
all the
do
way
get
through.
involved, particularly with the directing side of it as well, don't you? I mean, how do you decide which one you want to direct? Do you get first dibs?
A little bit. I mean, we like to create, both of us like to create, and I think that's sort of what brought us to Hope Mill in the beginning. We were actors that are trained in musical theatre, and we sort of gave all that up to create opportunities for other people. But then I think as we've sort of gone along, so we're not just dealing with the day-to-day stressfulness of it. We still have creative bones that we want to sort of allow opportunities to, for ourselves. That said, we've actually only ever created shows that I think we've believed that we would do the best job of. Or certainly with the people that we've sort of contacted. And then if other people would do a better job, that's when we've gone to other directors and creatives. So we don't like to just take all the opportunities.
And I mean, that's the crux of this. People are still coming to visit. Wherever you put your little logo and your little word Hope Mill, they are there. If people haven't been to one of your shows, or indeed if they're interested in anything that we've talked about today, how can they find and book tickets?
Well, I think the best thing to do is go on the website, hopemilltheatre.co.uk. You'll see all of the shows there that we have coming up, whether it be at Hope Mill or whether we're making any shows in other venues. It will all be on the website. And also as well, go on the website and see all of the other stuff that we do that a lot of people don't know about us. A lot of people know us for, Hope Mill doing musicals, and it's like, actually, a decade that we've made our stamp in Manchester, and I feel like, we have an incredible community offering. We have a choir, we have an orchestra, we have an amateur dramatics company that just did 95
anybody get
the
involved in
musical.
them?
Anyone can get involved.
Not you, no.
Anyone.
Yes.
I expect you should have been in 9 to 5. You should have been a great Dolly Parton.
That'd be a fabulous Dolly Parton.
You could have done 9 till 6 and been on for the
Yes.
last hour.
Indeed.
The other thing I must say about Hope Mill, and you know me, I couldn't give the monkeys about the show, as long as there's parking, public transport and food. And Hope Mill ticks all those boxes. I always go on on a Sunday.
Yes.
I go and we always have pizza and we have dips and we have all kinds of and bread, and often it's Joe that it is behind the bar.
Really?
Yes.
Still, 10 years later.
Years in.
I know, yeah. The first time I ever went there, you served me, and you're still there.
And of
We'll
course-
get on to Amnesty International for you.
They've got great entertainment as well. So anyway, thanks so much for your time today. Absolutely pleasure speaking to you.
thank you.
We are unfortunately out of time for now, everybody.
What?
Make sure you check out our lovely website and of course all our socials.
Yes.
And of course check the podcast on
And the
Sunday.
Tickery Tock and the Cockety Cock. We're on that one. I think that's a new one.
Wait, it is for you.
Yes, it
yes.
is.
It's not very often you've been on the cocktail.
No, and next week
Yes.
we're having even more innuendo.
We are.
Because we're looking at the Carry On films and the stars of the Carry On films and a new book.
Exactly.
Yes.
All that. So make sure you check it out only on
Your Manchester.